Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire country. Good morning to the entire world. To the ends, to wherever this 100,000 watt transmitter gets to. Northeast and Southeast Texas, Southwest and Northwest Louisiana, and everywhere in between, and from all the reaches of the internet. Welcome to Politics Done Right. We have a great show for you today. We hope to get it started quickly, but before we get there, let's go ahead and speak to our geniuses in the office, in the control room. Good morning, geniuses. And I think they may be there, but they may not be there. I've heard them before. I didn't hear them before. Are you guys out there? Okay.
Some feed.
Yeah, I can hear you now, my dear friends. You know, when you get those tin cans and so forth getting fixed, it takes a little bit of time. This is a studio that's inhabited by hundreds of volunteers, so somebody always gets a little button off here and there until we get it all running correctly to make sure that you guys hear the best sound possible. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there you go. Come on in, guys.
Yeah. Good morning, happy Texas.
I know, and we are happy. And we are.
Good.
How are you doing this
And-
morning, Howard?
I'm doing fine. We had some folks in last night who were amateurs at running this radio station, and they left all kinds of really weird things for me this morning. We couldn't get the intercom to you to work, and it's just fingers getting into everything. So we had to sort of straighten things out, and now I think we're all straightened out. So, and we're doing good. And
But
like I
wait,
said,
wait. Now you
Go ahead.
see why you have earned the title in that place, geniuses, because no matter what they did the night before, no matter how they set those signals, Howard to the rescue.
No, I just know what to do. I don't think I'm a genius at all.
I find the problem and he fixes them.
That's
There
right.
you
Jack
go.
finds things. He says, "Hey, it's not working. Hey, we found another mouse this morning."
Real one?
Yeah, the poor soul fell for my trap.
Are you
So-
serious? Oh wow, at least
Oh,
you got
yeah.
it before it smelled.
Yeah, well, I knew where it was. I mean, I set it out there because I knew he or she or whatever gender
Uh-huh.
that mouse is.
We
Has
didn't
been-
pull this little dress up.
Yeah, he's been in my office chewing on things, and I knew he was there. So I set up my little trap, and he's a little gray field mouse. I hate killing them. I do.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. I don't like killing anything except maybe bugs. But I can't have him in my office chewing up stuff because then he'll start chewing on wires.
Yeah.
And we got thousands and
We got
thousands
lots of
miles.
wires.
We got
That
thousands
would
of miles
be
of
bad.
wiring in this building. And yet to track down which one he chewed on, it's going to be a chore. So I just had to eliminate the poor little guy, and may he rest in peace. Jack, did you genuflect him before you dumped him in the trash can?
Yes. I passed sand over him and faced the east, and he's on his way.
Okay, well, that will assure him in getting into mouse heaven, where it's nothing but miles of cheese.
Wow,
Speaking of miles of cheese,
you guys are funny, man. Miles
Yeah.
of cheese.
speaking
Well,
of
that's
miles
good.
of cheese, Jack has some wisdom for us.
For you.
Let me hear the cheese.
Oh, this is just dissing our governor and his attorney and stuff. How did Texas end up with three of the most mean-spirited, hard-hearted leaders? No doubt Governor Goodhair, Rick Perry, brought redistricting to Texas as part of the conservative rights designed to rule the people, not govern the people. I mean, Paxton taking the city of Austin to court over their relaxed marijuana policies. I think he gets my vote for Simon Barr Sinister of the Year.
Yeah, where's Dolph Briscoe when you need him?
Really?
Dolph Briscoe was kind of like the pet rock governor. He really didn't do anything, but he didn't do anything bad.
When was he
Hey.
governor?
In the 70s. probably
Okay.
around 74, 75.
Yeah, that's
It was
why I
because
wasn't
that was the
aware.
big joke. That was the big joke among Texas was you have your pet rock governor. I said, yeah, okay, well, we'll take him back and get rid of these clowns here. That would be fine by me.
Yeah.
When did the pet rock come out? Maybe we could elect a pet rock.
Well, we have a lava rock already.
It's funny because I bet guys like Paxton and all these guys had no problems when they're in the back room smoking their marijuana or doing their coke or whatever, but they want to have control and tell others what to do. It's just like, this isn't to blame the doctors, but yesterday when I said when we were talking about Medicare Advantage, and you have all these people pushing it, and then you go ask the doctors, every doctor, these guys ask every doctor, would you take Medicare Advantage? And every doctor said, absolutely not. We go for traditional Medicare. Now, Paxton wants to penalize everybody that's doing some trying to keep themselves happy. I bet he keeps himself happy in a lot of different ways. But anyway, what else he got for me, Jack? Anything else, or are we ready to go?
We're ready to go, Egberto.
We are ready to go. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so kindly for your ears. I want to remind you to start, because I always forget. You give us a call at 713-526-5738. Tell us what's bothering you, what you want to talk about. Anything, it's yours. I have everything set to go as far as the subjects we're talking about today. But I always prefer hearing from you, because there are a lot of times you have subjects that you want covered, that you hope would be covered, and that's what we are here for. Everything that I prepare the night before for the show, you can always get at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter if we don't get to it here. Anyway, the title of the show today is Trump Gives Them Project 25. GOP Special Counsel Robert Hur hearing didn't go as expected. Subtitle: Critics warn that the RNC Bloodbath is a preview of what Project 25 would do if Trump is reelected. Representative Jamie Raskin and John Adler ensured that the Special Counsel Robert Hur hearing didn't go the way they expected. So, interestingly, I'm going to start early with one of our videos, and this one here features not I still put John Adler. It's not John Adler. It is Mr. Nadler that I should have in there. But anyhow, I will fix that. And we are, it's late at night when I'm doing this stuff. So sometimes I'm half asleep trying to finish up and put all the pieces together. So here we go with Mr. Nadler piece, and then we'll take it thereafter. I think it's all queued up. Here we go right now. Special Counsel Robert Hur is on at Congress now. The Republicans brought him in because they wanted to embarrass the president, even though the special counsel said the president is at no way should be found, should be charged with keeping secret documents like Brother Trump, who actually tried to disrupt our system, who obstructed justice, who lied about it, who asked for stuff to be destroyed. No comparison. But they thought they were going to bring Robert Hur and somehow embarrass the president, and specifically using the portion of Robert Hur's report that talks about the president's memory and certain things that he forgot, etc. Well, there's a thing called blowback. There's a thing called be careful what you ask for, because what happens is sometimes you get embarrassed. Well, they played a video in the beginning that made Biden seem forgetful at some times or misstating things at certain times. What the Democrats did in the beginning as well is have a rebutting video on Trump. And look at what they did. They made Trump look pretty much who he is. And then, so take a look at this. We'll take it on the other side.
January 6th. Nikki Haley is in charge of security. 3 years later, how about that?
Did you actually have a one-on-one with Comey?
Not much, not even that I remember. I don't like mosquitoes. We have languages coming into our country. We have nobody that even speaks those languages. They're truly foreign languages. Nobody speaks them. Saudi Arabia and Russia. Will repeat you.
I have a really good memory. Your next wife was a woman by the name of Marla Maples.
That's right.
Do you recall what years you were married to Ms. Maples?
It's called like Up Here, and it's called Memory, and it's called other things.
So you don't remember saying you have one of the best memories?
I don't remember that. And Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word there. You heard that, nuclear. We have to win in November, or we're not going to have Pennsylvania. They'll change the name. I talked to Putin a lot.
Did you ask him that?
I don't remember that. I saw that this morning. I don't remember asking him that question. I have a good memory and all that stuff, like a great memory. For 20 years, they were fighting ISIS. I defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won. I'm not cognitively. And you know what? When I am, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to be the first people. I know my people. You'll say, all right, Trump, you did a good job. Get the hell out of here. That's it.
Now, after seeing this, I said, wait a minute. There is one important one that you guys didn't put there. What's wrong with you, Democrats? Do you need bloggers to research this stuff for you? Do you need writers to discuss this stuff, to give you all the data? Well, we'll help our Democrats in Congress because there's one important one that's missed. And that is when Donald Trump could not even identify his wife. He thought his wife was Eugene Carroll, the woman who sued him, who he has to pay a $91 million to or something. I want you to check this part out. Check this out.
It's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
The person you just pointed to was Eugene Carroll.
Who is that?
Now, that is great. The guy couldn't even identify people on a picture. Who has the memory problem again? Tell me, who has the memory problem? But here's the deal. After playing that spiel, it is amazing what one of the congressmen had to say because he identified what Trump was perfectly. He identified the whole concept perfectly. Check this out.
That is a man who is incapable of avoiding criminal liability, a man who is wholly unfit for office, and a man who, at the very least, ought to think twice before accusing others of cognitive decline.
I like where the Democrats are going. I mean, they could be a bit more forceful, but, it's still happening. So we may have a few more clips that show them ramping up, not the attacks, but the truths.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to.
Now, what I really wanted to say, I wanted to say they could get a lot more aggressive because Donald Trump is aggressive, and what you have to do is be aggressive. There's one thing with voters, right? Voters would vote again, and I noticed this in over the decades that I've been here in the country, and that is, for the most part, voters want somebody that they feel can get something done. Sometimes it's not even necessarily the things they want done, but they want somebody that seems strong and can get things done. And the one part that Donald Trump plays very well is that he seems strong and likes to seem strong. Now, the current president, has a way of the old day type of presidents, right? Speak softly and carry a big stick. Look, I was never a proponent of that kind of a terminology because I think that is how, that's how we got American style colonialism, American style imperialism, etc. But again, that's the way the presidents operate. On the surface, it's kind. On the surface, it's quiet. On the surface, things look that way, but that big stick is right behind there. As a good example is as you guys know, I'm from Panama, the creation of the Panama Canal. To put it in kind of easy terms, America wanted, after the French tried to build a canal in Colombia, a sea level canal through the mountains of Panama. Panama was a province of Colombia, and in 1903. When the United States wanted to take over the Lesseps project to build the Panama Canal, Colombia said, like, hell no, you're not coming in our country to cut this land up and build a canal. And the Americans said, okay, no problem. And in the city that I am from, called Colon, right? They put a battleship in 1903 in the Gulf of Colon. I don't think it's called Gulf of Colon anymore. I don't remember what it's called, but they put a ship after there. They got a few rebels in Panama City to declare their independence. And as soon as they declared their independence, America said, okay, we recognize Panama as the newest independent country in the world. By the way, Panama, we want to build a canal. We want to sign a contract in perpetuity to build a 50-mile canal with 5 miles on each side that we have jurisdictional over your territory, for which we'll then pay you a little bit of money for every single year. That's the kind of operations we're used to covering throughout the world. Now, a lot of people ask the questions, why is immigration, why are people, immigrants coming here, etc. And some people have gotten mad when I say that we have a lot of responsibility because of what we've done in these other countries. Most people don't know the things. When I tell this Panama story about how the canal came to be, how the country came to be, many people came and would say things like, I didn't know that. I didn't know Panama was Colombia, etc. Anyway, but I'm off topic completely. Today we're talking about the next topic I want to hit is Project 25, because I think people don't understand how much planning is going into the assumption that, people say if Donald Trump wins the election in 2024, this year, that somehow they're going to start planning to implement Project 25. Well, let me tell you what's really going on. They have started implementing Project 25. It's ready so that as they believe Trump is going to win, they actually are operating as if Trump's going to win, and they have all the pathways laid out to do things immediately. Okay, immediately. And if you doubt that, you just have to take a look at what occurred with the RNC, the bloodbath that occurred this week. Common Dream has a good article on it, and I'm going to expand on that a little further with Project 25. But and by the way, folks, the number is 713-526-5738. Again, the number is 713-526-5738. Give us a call, extension 2 to be on air. 713-526-5738. Let me refresh the screen here that I want for the thing that I'm going to be putting out here, and then we'll get busy. All right. Critics warn RNC Bloodbath, a preview of what Project 2025 would do if Trump is reelected. There's already a recruitment and training program for MAGA militants underway, said one journalist focused on this issue. So yeah, we have people that are now studying seriously what Project 2025 is all about, because it's on the ready if Trump gets elected. They're operating as if Trump will be elected. Some are saying if Trump is reelected, we want to be ready. Over 60 staffers at the Republican National Committee have reportedly been let go following the change in leadership instigated by presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump. And critics warn this would be a preview of what Trump would do to the federal government should he win re-election in November. In a letter to some political and data staff, Sean Kerncross, the RNC's new chief operating officer, said that the new committee leadership was in process of evaluating the organization and staff to ensure the building is aligned with its vision. In other words, with the MAGA vision. During this process, certain staff are being asked to resign and reapply for a position on the team, Politico reports. For some political observers, the purge at the RNC should serve as a preview of Project 2025, an initiative led by the Heritage Foundation and Trump allies that would in part replace, listen to this, whether you're in Houston, Austin, Whether you are in Texas, in any part, whether you're in California, whether you are in Florida, it doesn't matter if you don't fit the profile. The Heritage Foundation and Trump allies that would in part replace over 50,000 civil servants in federal government with Trump loyalists. That is what you call a metastasizing cancer. Other administrations come in at the civil service level. They get at the top, yes, they put their people in, but at the lower levels, they don't say, are you Democrat? Are you Republican? You get the job because you're good at what you do. That's not the future. The future is a future of likely incompetence because we know that the MAGA movement, and this can be factually determined. We know that the MAGA movement is not a fact-based movement. It's a Trump-based movement, which means there's not much upstairs there. And I'm just being kind here, but there's not a lot upstairs to the movement. The movement is just a fraudulent movement that controls the minds of a few people, and at the same time goes ahead and spends our coffers as it sees fit. That's what MAGA looks like. That's why you got the several trillion dollar tax cuts. That's why you got the type of corruption that you got in government. But anyway, this would be accomplished. The release of the 50,000 civil servants, this would be accomplished through an executive order referred to as Schedule F that would allow Trump, if back in the White House, to fire a large number of career government workers who currently have protected status. Right now, you can't just let go of civil servant. There's a process that would have to be gone through, which is a good thing, right? You want people that are there, experiencing, if you know that you have some permanence in your job, you do the right thing. You don't just do the expedient thing. Trump issued this executive order at the end of his first term, but he was not able to implement the plan before President Joe Biden took office and rescinded the order. If you remember, he even started to change leadership in the military, which freaked out a lot of us, yours truly, as well. Because I tell you, when you start changing the leadership in the military in some ad hoc fashion for some ideological stance, suddenly having a military that acts like the military in many authoritarian country becomes the distinct, I say possibility? No, the distinct probability. The idea behind Project 25 is that Trump would be able to wield more power and face fewer obstacles to accomplish his goals if he had a federal government stocked with loyalists. Trump was damaging, but what held Trump back was a lot of the people that he installed were in fact Republicans, and they even kind of towed the line on the surface, but they really slowed him down a whole bunch. They didn't let him go bat crazy along the way. He went that way, but a lot of orders went unanswered. A lot of things he told people to do, they never did, right? But what he wants now is loyalists that he's ready. So he's ready to fire all these folks on day one and hire people. And I want to talk about a little something else that they're going through in a little bit. But so the idea behind Project 25 is that Trump would be able to wield more power and face fewer obstacles to accomplishing his goals if he had a federal government stocked with loyalists. Folks, when you have one particular group talking against another group, one of the things people take with a grain of salt is, well, you have to make that person seem as bad or seem really, really bad so that they will vote for you. So in listening to what I'm talking about today, there will be maybe some of my friends that are MAGA compatriots that would sit back and say, oh, Egberto's just talking. He's this old progressive, left pinko liberal that, he doesn't like Trump and he doesn't like conservatism, and that's why he's saying these things. So I don't believe what he's saying. Let me tell you what I like about the honesty of Project 2025. It's there for all to see. They're not shy about it. There's one thing that came out of the Trump administration, and that is they are proud of the things they believe in. They are proud of the hurt that they're willing to put on people. They are proud that they're not they're willing to tell Americans that yes, we are going to build these camps and we're going to deport these 10 million undocumented folks in this country. They're proud for that because they believe that that is what all of you out there want and stand for. And the reason why is when they see that somebody like Trump is still close in the polls with Biden. And by the way, several polls recently came out, and Biden is on top of most of the new ones that have been coming out even before the State of the Union. But the point being that they are looking at those polls that they think are correct. I don't think they are for several reasons. And, people say, whenever you're down in the poll, you don't believe the polls. It's not that. It's just that we have polls and we have voters, right? And the polls have not been correlating with what voters are doing, from the abortion legislations or abortion, not amendments, but abortion, laws that's been voted on over the last 2 years. Every one of them went down in strong defeat. Constitutional amendments went down in strong defeat. In other words, the progressives' point of view came out, and it went completely against what the polls were saying. So I don't blindly say I just don't believe the polls. It's not that I'm saying. I'm just saying I believe the polls need some adjustments based on who is actually voting right now. Right now, they have a bias towards Donald Trump with the assumption that the enthusiasm is there, so they're discounting many of the people that really don't like Biden, but look at Biden and say, you know what, I don't like this dude. But when I vote for Biden, I'm not really voting for Biden. I'm voting for not having a country that's on the pathway to fascism. So now, so when you hear me speak about these things, you don't have to say, well, it's coming from somebody with a progressive bias. I cop to my progressive bias. I am a progressive. I am a pure, true liberal, very left of the spectrum. I believe in the programs. I believe in a free enterprise, but I believe in the programs that makes the lives better of every single American. And that's not what we have with our economic system right now. That's not what we have with our medical system right now. So, yes, that's who I am. But when I speak against the conservative mantra that we have today, I no longer have to just kind of imply what it is. Project 25 is out there for all to see, as well as 47. Let me look. I can't remember what 47 stands for, but 47th president, he has his own plan out there ready to go. So Trump has made it clear. He wants the RNC to be loyal and ideologically aligned with his agenda. Meanwhile, the right wing effort to push forward Project 2025 as a blueprint for Trump's second term has his political opponents on high alert about a similar kind of purge, but one with much more dire consequences for the nation than a reshuffling of RNC leadership. Having dozens of people fired after he's installed a new leader, there could reflect the kind of thing he plans to do if he gets to implement Project 2025. An Axios report last week, Biden campaign plans intends to outline the general election. And that is the one good thing that I am feeling as well, in that we are not taking what they're saying for granted. We're making sure that everybody understands and point them to the information. Hey guys, this is what they say they're going to do. Believe them. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 2. Give me a call. Give me your thoughts before I go to the other piece here, but I want to hear your thoughts. Let's bring Brother Donald into the fold. Donald, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing fine, sir. Talk to me.
Okay, that mouse, did he not see the signs that says no mouses allowed? And why did he come in there when he wasn't allowed to?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's in love with Howard. Howard is a super likable guy, and Howard has this cozy office where he has all these big computer screens and computers and all of that. Sometimes I think, the mouse probably say, "I want to keep this good guy's company," but sometimes you try to keep somebody's company.
Oh Lord.
I think he was looking for the cheese, because what goes with wine and all that wine, and he was looking for that little bit of cheese with the wine.
Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, what's up, Donald?
Oh no, that's it. I just you guys keep doing what you're doing. I was just giving you a little bit of cheese with that wine this morning.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But anyway, folks, Donald, you're a good man as usual. Thank you for calling in, my brother. Always great hearing your voice.
Have a good one. Yes, sir.
You too, sir. Okay, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. Hey, I know these last couple days have been heavy, with a lot of stuff. But you notice we always talk about solutions as well. So give us a call, 713-526-5738. You want to go ahead and change some of the subject as well? Give us a call. But I am these last few days I have been heavy because things are in fact heavy, and I want people to know these things wide eyes open as they go to vote. But let's go ahead and bring Brother Ray into the fold.
Good morning, Brother Egberto.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I hope your family is on the mend right now. That's all I want to say about that.
Yes, my wife is home. She got home from the hospital Monday. That's the reason I was supposed to go to the Democratic club here in Humble to watch my brother Neil Aquino. Couldn't do it because, again, we were busy getting her resettled at home. But thanks for asking, sir.
All right. Well, I definitely echo your sentiment on, the danger of, one Mr. Trump, having acquired, another term of power. And that's the thing about it that, I'll be trying to let people know, like, people just don't understand, who, kind of took a lukewarm approach to, Trump's first term. It was like, he wasn't so bad. He was funny, people say stuff like that. He just, they don't understand. It's really sad when we're in a place in society where people look at leadership and feel like it should be there to entertain them and not to, lead them. So people like Trump because they don't know what he's going to say. And some people find that aspect about him appealing. But people like me who live in a, let's say a hurricane, heavy region, I'm nervous because if, this, son of a so-and-so, basically gets power, I know that he's only going to look after the people that he feels are loyal to him. So like Harris County would be, lost on him because basically we are the liberal blue shield of Texas, and he would look at it like, oh, those people didn't vote for me, so they don't get any hurricane aid. It's like he's petty like that. And I just don't understand. People just don't understand what the danger is of having a petty individual like that in power. But that's my thoughts on it. We need to find a way, and like I say, we need to find a way to get him off the ballot. That would be the ideal situation. But if nothing else, Brother Biden really just needs to push forward and let people know, hey, look, I might be old, but he's old and crazy.
Let me tell you, Ray, I'm of mixed feelings, right? Donald Trump has done enough to make it that he should not be on the ballot. Constitutionally, he should not be on the ballot. He tried to overthrow the United States government. That's one. However, because he has a following, and I this is one unconstitutional thing, I want him just beat on the ballot. In other words, I want us all not to fear, but to go ahead and engage all our citizens and talk to all our citizens. I want it to be organic. I want it to be crowdsourced. I want because look, it's not about Trump, right? Trump is just a man. It's about what's behind Trump. Because what behind Trump's lives on. If Trump dies tomorrow, and let's say they decided to use Nikki Haley as his replacement, the only thing Nikki Haley has different than Trump is style, and maybe that she hasn't had orgies and that kind of stuff. But that implementation of what will do is codified in Project 2025. This is not something that, this lives on beyond Trump. What we have to do, in my opinion, is expose not a new platform. This is back from the 80s, from the moral majority. They've been trying to implement this for a long time. Let me get off on a tangent, and then I'm coming to you, Brian and Harry, because I really want you guys to get this here. About 5 years ago, when we had the old station, I did a little 3 or 4 minute spiel where I said that the Republican Party, the current conservative Republican Party, and for my Republican friends, I'm not talking about you as an individual. I'm talking about you as the mantra, the part that you don't control, to Republican friends. They have always had the plan. They know they were never into democracy, that meaning one person, one vote. So all the policies that they support, you have to remember, 2 senators from North Dakota has the same amount of power as 2 senators from California, which means individually all those people have more powers. They understand how the Constitution was written. And the Constitution was never written as a real democratic document. Let me explain. Again, I gave you the example with senators, etc. But what they knew is that their policies were not designed for the masses. And the only way you can govern if your policies are not designed by the masses is to use our government has 3 sections, right? Legislative, judiciary, and executive. The only way you can implement things that are not popular, implement things that are not what most people want, is to use the judiciary and the undemocratic portions of the Constitution to get it done, vis-a-vis senators and judiciary. Now, how does that, and gerrymandering, of course, but I'm not going to go into that part. So what that means is the following. We work as hard as possible. We lie as much as possible to get enough people in there to give us the judiciary we want, we need. And now they have the judiciary they needed, the judiciary they wanted. And what does that do? That means you have judges that are delaying a Trump coming to trial. That means you have a Supreme Court that is sleepwalking as it makes things happen. That's what it actually means, and we are seeing it in action. But it's deeper than that, because when the executive, if the executive, meaning the presidency, is taken over then by, let's say, this pseudo-conservative following the Project 2025 pathway, what it means is that even if the part that is a bit more popular, let's say, even if we get enough senators, and we could get the 52 senators that are from states that are fairly progressive, and we get we get a Congress that is more reflective of the population. If they decide to pass laws that's fairly progressive, irrespective of president, even though it's easier with the president, it doesn't get executed. Why? Because you pass a law that says I'm going to collect more taxes from corporations for the damage that they've done, and the president signs it if necessary. They go ahead and sue at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says unconstitutional. and suddenly you can't execute any piece of your laws. Biden says we are going to give forgiveness to the students for the banks that have ripped them off over time, and the Supreme Court says, nope, we're not going to do that. And right there, you see what the beginning of autocracy looks like. You control the judiciary, and that's the start. And the judiciary starts reacting and reacting and reacting, and eventually it comes to pass. And that's why we have to be well aware, Ray. Sorry for taking that long time to say that, but I think a lot of people don't quite get that.
No, and to your point, I'm going to leave on this note. There's a young gentleman who's a music artist who came out with a song. If you, I would love if you highlight it on your show. I know you don't do a lot of musical pieces, but this particular song is entitled "My Vote Don't Count" by a gentleman named Yellow Pain.
Right.
And
okay.
He really breaks down, in like street terms, what all three branches of government mean and why we should pay attention to every single branch of government.
Exactly.
When we
Right.
vote, because
Right.
the judiciary is just as important as the executive, which we all, like casual voters, all pay attention to the executive.
You nailed it,
the
brother.
president, the governor, mayors.
Ray, email me that song, Ray. I want you to email me that song because it's true. We have and that's where we have to get that. No, your vote does count. Your vote does count because we still have time to mitigate it. Whereas the Supreme Court has ultimate power now. If we keep the Senate and keep the executive, we can put sensible people. We can expand the Supreme Court so that biased power is mitigated. So thank you so kindly, Harry, for calling, my friend.
Yeah, and I'll send that to you. Appreciate
Thank you, sir.
Egberto.
All right, let's go to Brian. I think Brian was what did he call back again, or is that another Brian? Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. Talk to me.
Oh, you kind of went on a long tangent there that had me thinking other things, but I was just calling about earlier. You said something about, the theme here so far has been kind of like maybe not Biden. He's not the best guy in there, but it's just not Trump. And I just find that comical, and it's just kind of been a recurring theme that I'm seeing across, all the talk shows and anybody that's in the political game. It's kind of like, well, yeah, Biden's not the best guy. We just don't want Trump. And I just want to know, what was so bad about those 4 years that he was in there? The guy was not even given one honest day to be a true president without everybody attacking him for what they believed about him, but not based on any actions. If you look at his record when he was in there, what he did, no new wars, a vibrant economy, low unemployment. And the dude went to North Korea, first president to ever do so, crossed the demilitarized zone and into North Korea. And I know I know the talking point on that. Well, he's trying to be friends with Russia and North Korea and all these evil people. Well, it's probably better to be on good terms with our so-called enemies and people that are a threat to our democracy rather than what we see now. And where I go with that is, okay, Joe Biden can barely even string together a complete sentence. He can't give one speech without any kind of talking cards or somebody up there spoon feeding him what to say. I don't know how, if you're going to compare these two guys, because those are our choices, who would you rather have? If you had to put Joe Biden alone in a room with another foreign leader and rely solely on his cognitive disposition to lead this country, to be our voice, I do not trust that at all. The guy has shown time and time again that he is incoherent. He does not know what's happening around him for a majority of the time. And I just feel that he is so incapable of leading this country. And he has done a horrible job so far.
Okay.
And
all right.
I know that the biggest issues with Trump are the social issues. That seems to be a lot of the talking points nowadays. Abortion, human rights, which I think is laughable because of what Joe Biden's done with human rights. And so I wish I could talk to the Trump campaign and tell them to keep their mouth shut on all of that stuff and just focus on what he did for this country as far as foreign policy, which is funny because Joe Biden has always touted that his foreign policy was his strongest suit, and it has shown time and time again that it is not his strongest suit. It is possibly his weakest suit. We have a war in the Middle East now that we are funding, which I am more of a conservative, but I am not on the pro super Israel train. I don't think that we should be giving them hardly any money, not nearly as much as we are giving them. To what I do agree that it looks like a genocide. They are over there just brutally slaughtering people. But the Joe Biden campaign, or not campaign, his whole office in there is still funding that, and it shows no signs of stopping. And then we have the war in Ukraine, which
do you feel
started
that
right after he got in there, and there have
Brian,
been numerous occasions where there have been.
Brian, I mean, I gave you. Do you think I gave you a fair amount of time to say what you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, you did.
Okay. Now, I know you. We only have 10 minutes left of the show, right? And you gave a litany of things that you thought that Trump did, etc. And I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. What's your source of information?
My favorite news source is Democracy Now. That's my favorite place to get my news.
Okay. And second?
The NPR.
Okay. Now, I'm surprised that you listen to those stations and you are actually stating those things about
I don't know
what
how
Trump.
people can listen to them and not come to those conclusions because it's so. That's why I find it so hilarious.
Yeah, give me a chance to answer your. Give me a chance to answer some.
Give all the facts that.
I hear you. I need you to give me a chance to talk now. I really honestly gave you a whole lot of latitude to say what you wanted to say. And I mean, because with true respect, you gave a completely unfounded record. When it comes to the economic picture, Donald Trump was handed an economy, and all of these things are verifiable, Brian, and I hope you would go see the charts. Donald Trump was given an economy on the ascent. Donald Trump was given an employment picture that was beautiful. Donald Trump was given all these things. Donald Trump didn't create any policy, and listen to me well. Donald Trump created no policy that changed the trajectory of what President Obama did to rebuild from the 2008 crash that we had. Donald Trump created no new policy. What Donald Trump did do is anytime he got into trouble with the economy, is he had something called an infrastructure week where they're going to go ahead and create jobs with infrastructure, which he never got passed. And of course, Biden did it. It was the only president that got an infrastructure bill of this size done. So much for his cognitive inabilities. Now let's go ahead and talk about his term didn't end in 2019. The last full year of his term was 2020. It's Trump's fault that many people died because of how he handled COVID. You don't judge a president from the things that are easy to do. You judge a president for the things that are hard to do. He utterly failed in COVID. I know the talking points, etc. From the right. I'm sorry, Brian, but the guy his administration was a failure. Now, there's one thing that you are right about. And that is, he has no interest in wars and all that kind of stuff. That's not where he's at. And you're right about Biden as well, condoning a genocide. I hate that. And to me, the biggest problem with that is not only the dead people, but it gives you some legs to stand on. But Donald Trump, and we'll talk about this another day. I hope you listen to the program every day and we can have a good conversation. But sir, the things that you mentioned about him being good for, you are simply wrong. But we'll talk about that some other day. I promise you that. You have free will at this show. You noticed you got your time. Okay.
And I hear you. COVID's always the easy one to bring up, but COVID was literally.
No, Brian, I really have to talk. Brian, I gave you time. Brian,
it came out.
Brian, I gave you time. All right, let's go to Harry. Harry, I'm sorry I'm going to shortchange you, but come real quick. Give me 35 seconds because I got a bunch of people.
I'll come real quick. Well, the first problem that I have is with Joe Biden is in 2021. Why didn't he, when they had a Democratic-controlled Senate and a Democratic-controlled House, put forth an SB4 bill on the southern border to do something about the undocumented workers who seeking asylum? And then Steve Hunter had a guest on, a Republican, and it really made me mad the last 10 minutes of his show when he was talking about the Gaza and the Judean people. Steve Hunter asked him, what should we do with that situation? And a Republican said, well, Jordan and Egypt need to open their borders.
Exactly.
So that those people
It makes no sense. Harry, I really am on a hard time, so I got to go. Patrick.
I'll talk about it tomorrow.
Thank you, brother. Patrick, come on, real quick. I only can give you 30 seconds or so, Patrick. Got a lot of people.
Good morning. I just wanted to mention that it seems like everybody's forgotten about Charlottesville, and that's pretty much the easiest way to judge who Trump is and what he's done. And as far as the economy goes, he tried to make improvements. I haven't really seen them, but the way he did it was by rolling back work group protection to benefit bottom lines of large businesses and investors. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Patrick. And all of that is documented and provable. All right, let's go to Johnny on line 1. Come on, Johnny. You're on, Johnny.
Brian, to address Brian, I think his name was.
Yes.
We don't know what we're talking about with Donald Trump. He was so wonderful and all that. And then he mentioned that he was a follower of democracy now. He loves it. It's not possible. It's not possible for you to be a long-time listener and or viewer of Democracy Now! And be in a cloud with regards to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, American people, before he got into the White House, on the campaign trail, that he would take no presidential salary, zero, because he was wealthy. But at the end of 4 years, he made off with more than $1.6 billion, as in boy, $1 billion. That's 1,000 times the amount of presidential salary you earn in 4 years. Where did Donald Trump get that money? Why does he have all these emails?
Brian, Johnny, you're right. Thank you for bringing that up. I mean, Brian has bad information, but we'll talk about that another time because I got to go to the second Brian and close the show down. But thank you, Johnny, for calling in and listening. Brian, number 2. Come on in, Brian, number 2.
Yeah, I believe Brian is correct.
I know you do.
I stand by him, what he just said, 100%.
Good.
What was the unemployment rate when Trump took office?
The unemployment hold on.
It went down to 3.8.
Right.
And I thank him very much for the tax cut. That means I paid less in taxes.
Actually, sir, it's verifiably that.
Wrong.
All right, look, Brian, I got to go, but you're verifiably wrong in what the tax cut does. We can talk economics if you want to. We will talk economics if you want to, but I'm not going to talk, anything else right now because we got to go away. So let's bring in 832 real quick. Don't screen them. Just put them on because a last person called. Caller, how are you doing? 30 seconds. You're on.
Hello?
Yeah, 30 seconds. Hurry up, please, my friend. Last call. All right. Anyhow, I tried.
That was it.
That was it. Let's go to the studio. Come on in, guys.
Well, I will say that Donald Trump did do a few good things with our military, and some of his policies were okay. But you were right, and he was handed over a fine running machine, and then proceeded to possibly poorly maintain it.
Exactly.
So Donald Trump was not all bad. But this next coming Trump administration, if it should be, was not going to be anything but revenge. I'm going to get all of my enemies. So do beware when you vote what you're voting for. And if that's what you want to vote for, God help you. And that's
absolutely.
What I like.
Thank you, brother Jack.
But Jack says he doesn't have any more wisdom today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he ran short of wisdom, so
Okay. Well, look, guys, let me tell you. First of all, I thank you all for the callers. Thank you all for the listeners. I want you all to know that, the reason I want to make sure some of my progressive folks get mad that I bring all these people, allow all these people to say their words. That's the only way we're going to change minds. See where folks are coming from, and then let them have enough trust in you to listen to what you're saying. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.